Have you ever wondered why dogs lift one leg when they pee? Seriously, out of all the millions of animals on Earth, why do dogs choose such a strange position? According to a funny old story, it all started on the day God created the first dog. That day, God was shaping a dog out of clay. The head was finished, the tail was finished, 3 legs were finished. But just as he was about to make the final leg, he realized he had run out of clay. Completely. God looked around, thought for a few seconds. Then he snapped a small tree branch nearby and stuck it where the missing leg should have been. After that, he breathed life into the figure. The dog immediately came to life, running, jumping, barking, and becoming the very first dog in the world. But there was one small problem. One of its legs was made of wood. And from that day on, every time the dog needed to pee, it lifted that leg as high as possible. Why? Because if you pee on a wooden leg every day, sooner or later it's going to rot. The first dog survived. The other dogs copied him. And thousands of years later, dogs all over the world are still lifting one leg when they pee. Sounds reasonable, right? Unfortunately, the entire story is completely made up. But here's the strange part. The real reason dogs lift their leg is actually far more fascinating. Because when a dog pees, it's not just going to the bathroom, it's sending a message to the entire dog world. The secret social network of dogs. Most of us think urine is just waste, something the body doesn't need anymore, something that needs to be gotten rid of. But to dogs, urine is much closer to a social media post than a bathroom break. That's why dogs rarely empty their bladder all at once. They pee a little, walk a few yards, pee a little more, then keep going. If the goal were simply to empty the bladder, this behavior would make absolutely no sense. But if the goal is communication, everything suddenly becomes much more logical. When another dog walks by and smells that spot, it's not just smelling urine, it's reading a profile. Imagine you're walking down the street. Suddenly you come across a public bulletin board, and written on it is, "My name is Max. I'm 4 years old. I'm healthy. I pass by here at 7 a.m. I love chasing squirrels. And I can't stand that black dog at the end of the street." Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But for dogs, that's completely normal. In fact, lampposts, trees, car tires, and fence corners aren't just random objects. In the dog world, they're public message boards. Some locations are so popular that dozens of dogs visit them every day just to leave comments. The first dog writes, "I was here." The second dog replies, "Me too." The third jumps in, "I pass through this area all the time." Then another dog arrives and spends 20 seconds sniffing the spot as if it's reading a heated argument online. So the next time your dog stops at a tree and refuses to move for what feels like forever, it might not be going to the bathroom at all. It might just be scrolling Facebook. The only difference is that a dog's Facebook is written in urine. What are dogs actually reading? At this point, you're probably thinking, okay, I get it. Dogs are leaving information behind. But what exactly are they reading? Now that's where things get interesting, because the biggest difference between humans and dogs isn't language. It's how they experience the world. For example, you see a tree. Your dog sees a Facebook profile. You think, it's sniffing pee. Your dog thinks, let's see what's new today. The first dog walks by, leaves a scent mark. It's basically posting a status update. Max just checked in at Central Park. A few hours later, another dog arrives. It sniffs for a moment, like it's reading the post. Oh, Max was here? Then a third dog shows up. It doesn't just read, it leaves its own scent behind. Like posting a comment, "I stopped by too. I can confirm. I've seen this post." But the story doesn't end there. Sometimes a dog will pee directly on top of an older scent mark. Sounds a little rude. But in the dog world, that's like saying, "Max made a post. Let me pin my comment to the top." It's basically the dog version of an algorithm boost. And this is where things get really funny. Sometimes dogs spend a very long time sniffing a single tree. You check your watch. 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. And you start thinking, what could possibly be so interesting? But inside your dog's head, the conversation might sound more like this. Wait a second. Bella was here last night? Seriously? I thought Bella moved away. Hold on. Rocky was here too? Are those two hanging out together now? That's the dog version of neighborhood drama. And that's also why some trees become incredibly popular. If you've ever visited a dog park, you've probably noticed a few trees that every dog seems to stop at. Why? Because that's where the information is. Imagine Facebook, Reddit, and your neighborhood group chat, all combined into one place. That's what those trees are. And when a new dog moves into the area, it spends a lot of time sniffing everything. Not because it's weird, because it's doing exactly what humans do when they move into a new neighborhood. It's trying to figure out who lives here, who's the biggest dog around, who's the toughest dog, who's female, who's my new neighbor. And the funniest part of all? Humans take dogs for walks to get exercise. Dogs think, perfect. It's time to go online. So the next time your dog spends 30 seconds sniffing a tree, don't rush it. It might not be wasting time at all. It could be catching up on the latest news, reading neighborhood profiles, following local drama, checking who just moved in, seeing who recently passed through, and finding out who made the latest post on Facebook for dogs. Because in their world, a tree isn't just a tree. It's a Facebook page that's constantly being updated. The only difference is, instead of using Wi-Fi, dogs use urine. Why do dogs lift their legs so high? By now, we've learned something important. When a dog pees, it's not just going to the bathroom, it's posting on the dog version of Facebook. But that leads to another question. If every dog is posting, why do they lift their legs so high? Why not just stand normally and pee on the ground? As it turns out, the answer is more human than you might think. Imagine you just posted something online. What do you want? You want people to see it, right? Well, dogs feel the same way. A scent mark on the ground isn't very noticeable, but a scent mark higher up on a tree, a lamp post, or a car tire is much easier for other dogs to detect. It's like putting a billboard on a busy highway instead of hiding it on the sidewalk. But here's the most interesting part. Researchers discovered something surprising. Small dogs often lift their legs much higher than you'd expect. In fact, some tiny dogs practically look like they're doing a yoga pose. Meanwhile, many large dogs seem completely relaxed about it. Sounds backwards, doesn't it? If anyone should be trying to look bigger, wouldn't it be the big dogs? But research suggests the opposite. Scientists believe that some small dogs may be trying to create a certain impression. Imagine you're walking past a lamp post. You notice a scent mark unusually high off the ground. Your brain might automatically assume, wow, the dog that left this must have been pretty big. And that's exactly what some small dogs want. In other words, a Chihuahua that weighs 4 kilograms may be trying to convince the entire neighborhood that it weighs 40. If that sounds familiar, it's because humans do the same thing. Some people take photos next to luxury cars. Some post gym pictures every day. Some only share the best moments of their lives. Dogs? Dogs don't have Instagram, so they came up with their own version. They lift their leg higher to make their post look more impressive. And the funny part is, other dogs may actually fall for it. Because in the dog world, the height of a scent mark is part of the message. That's why you sometimes see a tiny dog lifting its leg so high it looks like it's about to tip over. It's not losing its balance, it's managing its public image. It's building a personal brand. It's trying to make its Facebook profile look a little more intimidating. And honestly, humans aren't that different. The comment war of the dog world. By now, we know that dogs are posting. Dogs are reading posts, and some dogs are even trying to make their posts stand out. But that leads to another question. Why do dogs love peeing on top of other dogs' scent marks? If you've ever walked a dog, you've probably seen this happen. A dog stops, sniffs a spot for a long time, then turns around, lifts its leg, and pees directly where another dog just marked. From a human perspective, that seems a little strange. But in the Facebook world of dogs, it's basically a comment war. Imagine Max just posted a status update. I was here. A few hours later, Rocky arrives. Rocky reads the post, thinks for a moment, then replies, I'm here too. But Rocky doesn't want his comment buried at the bottom. Rocky wants everyone to see him first, so Rocky pins his comment to the top. That's exactly what's happening when one dog pees over another dog's scent mark. Scientists call this behavior overmarking. In simple terms, it means placing your scent directly over an existing scent mark. It's extremely common in dogs, especially among confident dogs or dogs that care about social status. In other words, they don't just want to join the conversation, they want to be the most visible participant in the conversation. The funny part is that these battles can go on for a long time. Max marks the spot. Rocky marks over Max. Bella arrives and marks over Rocky. Then Charlie walks by and decides to cover all of them. At that point, the poetry has become a bigger argument than the comment section under a controversial viral video. But why do dogs do it? Partly to say, I'm here too. Partly to make their own message more noticeable. And sometimes to reduce the impact of the previous message. In other words, this is how dogs compete for attention. Sound familiar? Humans do exactly the same thing. We post, we comment, we argue, we try to be noticed. Dogs just use a different method. So the next time your dog insists on peeing exactly where another dog already marked, don't assume it's being rude. It may have just read a post and felt the need to leave a comment. Because in Facebook for dogs, the winner isn't always the one who posts first. Sometimes it's the one whose comment ends up on top. The secret messages dogs are leaving behind. At this point, we know dogs have Facebook. They post, they read, they comment, and sometimes they participate in comment wars that last for hours. But that leads to one final question. What are they actually trying to say? If urine is a post, then what's written in that post? This is where things get really interesting. Because many people assume dogs are simply saying, "This is my territory." In reality, that's only a small part of the story. Imagine opening Facebook. You don't just post, "This is my house." You post many other things. "I'm here. I'm doing fine. I stopped by. I'm still active." Dogs do the same thing. Many scent marks are essentially status updates. One dog may be saying, "I passed through here at 8 a.m. Another may be announcing, "I'm healthy." And another may accidentally reveal, "I'm feeling stressed today." The strange part is that dogs aren't intentionally writing these details. The scent reveals them automatically, just like humans accidentally reveal emotions through facial expressions or through their tone of voice. That's why dogs can learn so much about each other simply by sniffing. And here's the funniest part. Imagine if humans communicated the same way. You walk past a lamppost, and suddenly a profile appears. John, 42 years old. A little stressed about work. Didn't sleep well last night. Already had 3 cups of coffee today. Trying to save money. Sounds terrifying, doesn't it? Fortunately, humans have privacy. Dogs almost don't. In Facebook for dogs, personal profiles are practically public. And that's why dogs spend so much time sniffing. They're not reading one status update. They're reading an entire profile, an activity history, and sometimes even secrets the dog's owner doesn't know. Which means the next time your dog stops and sniffs a scent mark for a long time, it may not be reading a post. It may be reading another dog's entire profile page. And honestly, if human Facebook contained that much information, we'd probably stand there reading for 30 seconds too. Dog Facebook existed long before the internet. Throughout this entire video, we've been calling these trees Facebook for dogs. It sounds like a joke, just a funny comparison, but the more you think about it, the stranger it becomes. What does Facebook help humans do? Share information, see who's around, find out where people have been, learn what others are doing, stay updated on what's happening nearby. Right? Well, that's exactly what dogs were doing long before humans invented the internet, before smartphones, before computers, before writing itself. One dog passes by, leaves information behind. Another dog arrives later, reads that information, then leaves a response. A complete communication system. Simple, yet incredibly effective. And the amazing part is, it's still working right now, just outside your front door, at the nearest park, on the lamppost you walk past every day. While we're busy scrolling on our phones, dogs are busy browsing their own version of the internet. No screens, no batteries, no passwords, no Wi-Fi, just scent and millions of years of evolution. That also explains why dogs always want to stop and sniff, why they don't want to skip a tree, why they feel the need to leave one more scent mark before moving on. Because to them, it's not just a tree, it's a conversation, a news feed, a profile page, a part of the dog community. And maybe that's the most fascinating thing about this entire story. For years, we've watched dogs lift their leg and thought, it's just peeing. But in reality, it may be posting, reading comments, following drama, checking neighborhood profiles, and catching up on the latest local news, all from a single tree. So the next time your dog suddenly stops in the middle of a walk, spends 30 seconds sniffing a lamppost, then carefully lifts its leg as high as possible, don't rush it. It may not be wasting time at all. It may simply be checking Facebook. The only difference is that Facebook for dogs existed long before humans ever imagined the internet. And honestly, it probably works better than some of our social media platforms today. So what about your dog? Is it the type that politely scrolls Facebook, or the type that pins its comments to the top and joins every neighborhood drama? Let me know in the comments. What does your dog do whenever it finds a tree? Does it sniff for a few seconds and move on? Or does it stand there reading the news for half an hour? If you learned something new today about the secret world of dogs, don't forget to like this video and share it with another dog owner. And subscribe for more fascinating insights into dog psychology that most owners never hear about. Thanks for watching, and enjoy your next walk with your dog and its favorite social network.